you have a bad environment, bad computers, I don't know, even bad.
But now you hear me, right?
Yes, now yes.
I now have a double setup, so my phone will do the audio and my screen will do the video, and everything works.
Amazing. Fortunately, you have only two, sense to audio and video, and you enough. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we cannot see you, but I think that he can see us, right, Map?
Yeah, I can see everything.
Okay. So excused. We have also Etienne, as far as I can see, because he has something. He wrote something, and then Mikuláš, and then oh, hello, Yasmin. Nice to see you. So also, I think that even Cedric won't be there, right? Because I see that he's sick. Okay, Cedric, live here. And I have Jan here. We have Yasmin, Bastian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, and Flori, of course, is here too. Flori is here too. Okay. Guests, would you mind? Yeah, Tanas, I add you, or I post here the link of the pad so you can add yourself. The fellow guests, there is Mab and Thanasis, and that's it, right? Yeah, Python Air that is streaming, and we have double Mab, double Thanasis. I think we're all set. So unless there is somebody else who wants to chair this meeting, I propose myself for the chairing position, and also if nobody opposes, I would like to chair the meeting. And if somebody else can help with the minute or secretary, it would be great. Jan, you have to listen to YouTube to hear us. That's better than nothing. Better than nothing. YouTube, it should be like 10 seconds delayed. But still, the problem is that then when you want to speak, that you can't. If you can't speak, you have to write, Jan. Okay, is there anyone who would like to secretary this meeting? Don't be shy. I mean, Peter, you can do it, I guess. Okay, never mind. I would try to do both things. If nobody can take care of the minutes. So the recording is provided by Pirates on Air. And I would officially open the meeting at 9 Central European Summer Time. So with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 member of the board present and 3 excused, we have officially the quorum of this meeting, this board meeting, and we have also the pleasure to have a couple of guests. Thanasis from the Pirate Party of Greece and our super pirate Matthias Bergman, so-called MAP. So at line 44, there is a proposal of the agenda for this meeting. And I would invite you to read it. Of course, we have to approve the agenda first and then approve the minutes of the previous meeting. I would prefer not to post here the link of the minute, but the official link. Let me just post the official link that is in the wiki. Here we go, board, and we have the 8th meeting held both. It was a hybrid meeting in Brussels and remote. So let me. Okay, here we go. This is the link. So, first of all, I would like you to kindly ask you to approve the agenda at line 45. That was approval of the agenda, approval of the minutes of the last meeting, the 8th meeting, debrief from the last council meeting, update from the last negotiation with Green Safer Group. That probably, yes, should be done by, I don't know if we can do this because actually maybe Mab can do it because Mikuláš is not present. So probably if Mab cannot update the point number 4, we can't have any update from the last negotiation with Greens EFA Group.
I can give you input on point 3, 4, 5, and 6.
3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so that's great. So I think if Mab can give us some some updates, or can talk about point 3, 5, 3, 4, 5, and 6, then discussion and decision on the process of the CEEP can be done even without Mikuláš. So I think that we can approve the agenda as it is. Yeah, that's map per 2 with 10 seconds delay. It's awesome. You are in the hyperspace. So I see a 4 vote casted at line 70. 75 for the approval of the minutes of the last meeting, and only 4 vote, then 5 vote casted on line 65 for the approval of the current agenda. So yes, I think that with 4 votes and 5 votes, both previous minutes of the last meeting and agenda are approved. So the last meeting was the 8th, so we have to approve only this one. Okay. So, and of course, we can have any other business. So any other business, it's let's start with the point number one. So the brief from the last council meeting.
Yes, so I was asked to help the board with the council meeting that was held in Brussels, and so I have a fairly good overview of how it all played out. Then, if we start with the financial aspects, we used roughly half the budget that was allocated for the event. Our total cost should be some 500 euros at the end of the day. And okay, is Jan the only one who hear me twice?
Yeah, because he's listening. Jan is listening actually from with 10 seconds delayed twice.
Yeah,
But
well, then you should mute one of the options so he doesn't hear me more than once.
Okay. Be sure that at least we can hear you.
Excellent. So we used roughly half the budget. That was partially thanks to the support of the Pirate delegation in the European Parliament, who arranged a side event that covered, for example, lunch and the morning coffee, so that we only had to pay for the part where we were actually there. During the meeting, we had interesting discussions. We had a great participation from a lot of members. We were 2 parties short to fulfill the requirement needed to be able to do statute changes. So the proposed statute changes was postponed. Other than that, everything that was on the agenda was dealt with. And I would say that the general atmosphere in the room was very positive, and it was great to be able to organize well, in this case, hybrid, but a physical meeting again after a few years where we have only had online meetings. That would be my brief debrief, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have about the event if you weren't there, or if you want to have it added to the notes, we can just ask and I will answer.
Well, if there is nobody that would like to add something, I also really appreciate. I say just a couple of words that I really appreciate last council meeting, and especially the, let's say, lateral section, all the workshops that were during the meeting, and also all the other stuff in the surrounding, because I guess this is the right way to at least start a positive debate within all pirates from everywhere. Even our guests were very involved, and I saw, generally speaking, everyone very pleased to meet in person in Brussels. That's great. That's why we should definitely do this once again in Strasbourg next year, because it was, in my opinion, a very we had a very great occasion to start building a new, let's say, a new routine. Of course, in my opinion, we can also have fully online meeting sometimes, especially if we need, let's say, ad horas and not so scheduled. But it's way better to have at least a couple of scheduled meeting on site or hybrid. Because it makes a lot of difference, in my opinion. Thank you. And also there was a question just to debriefing the last council meeting. Mab also asked in the chat if um, we were able to send invoices for the missing for all the parties that missed it. Maybe Bastian, you can update us on this.
Well, that seems to be better to discuss under annual business rather than under this point, because
Okay.
it's not that tied to the council, that meeting that we had.
Okay, fine. No problem. Anyone else would like to add something to the last council meeting in September? Since not to be the case, I would rather pass to the the following step, that is update from the last negotiation with Greens IFA group.
Yes, I'm happy to take this as well. As you all know, the Pirate delegation and the European Pirate Party has jointly started negotiations with the Green IFA group to find some kind of written agreement on the pirates being part in that group that can be presented to a council meeting so that pirates can make a decision on whether we want to be in the group after the next election or not, rather than to have to make ad hoc decisions by the pirate MEPs who gets elected. So we're trying to shift so that there's an agreement between the group and the European Pirate Party, so that the decision is taken there rather than by the individual MEPs. Ideally, this should also give us a better deal than the ad hoc solutions that we've had in the past. We started a formal negotiation over a year ago with representatives from the Czech, German, and Luxembourgish pirates in the negotiation team. And those negotiations hit some early speed bumps where they disagreed on overarching principles with the negotiation team from the Greens. And after that, all the meetings has been postponed. So the Pirate delegation decided that it needed to be restarted, this time with a sort of smaller ambition than we might have had originally, and a focus on what we can agree on rather than what we can't agree on. They've asked me to help on a technical level to make sure that the negotiations goes forward. So I will help draft proposals. I will ensure that there's technical meetings with the group before any negotiations and so on. And I've been in touch with the general secretary of the group. We discussed the timeline, and I've made it known that we would need to have a concrete deal on the table before our next council meeting, or at least before our council meeting early next year, so that we can go into the election process knowing whether we have a deal with the Green IFA group or not. And the response was that definitely should be doable. We've also pointed out that it would be good if there was some kind of progress already by December, as the European Green Party will have a conference where some pirates will attend, and it would be very good to have something to show at that point. And we've got a response that is probably also doable if the group just gets its act together and start negotiating. The deal would be smaller in scope than was originally envisioned, focusing more on what we have right now than rather what we might have in the future. But our aim is to put in a trigger clause that says that if the pirates become large enough, and then that would be quantified in the deal, that will trigger renegotiations to give us more, basically more prominence in the group than what we will get from this original deal. And of course, these are all negotiations and they haven't really started yet. So exactly what we'll get out of it, I can't say. But the negotiation team that was appointed by the board will oversee all the negotiations and any final deal will then be put for the council to vote on by or by the European Party Council, so that it is approved by the member parties before we sign anything with the group.
Thank you, Mab. Thank you very much for your updates. Sounds like a plan. Does anyone have something to ask, to say about this topic? Don't be shy, we have plenty of time today. Okay, I see no hand raised and nothing want to add something or ask something to Mab. So thank you, Mab, for your update, and I will move to the point number 5. That is decision on time and place for the next council meeting. I have to say that here, probably Mab, you have something to say again. So if you want, the floor is yours.
Yes, the schedule for this year that was decided by the board in the spring, I want to say March, but I might be off with a month, foresaw an additional council meeting in December. That is pretty soon, and since we postponed statute changes to the next council meeting, it might be tricky to get a quorum for those statute changes by December, and if we don't really have anything else that urgently need to be addressed, except the decision for the budget for the coming year. Therefore, I've discussed with Mikuláš, and Mikuláš agrees that it would make sense to postpone the council meeting to early April next year and have the first meeting in April and combine it with a whole day finalization of the Common European Election Program. And Mikuláš has also said that he can make a visitors group in Strasbourg available to ensure that we can have a physical meeting with some of the travel costs compensated for by the European Parliament. And especially if we already now plan it for April, it should allow people to buy tickets when they are cheap. So that would, let me find you the exact date, that would be the second weekend of April, which I want to say is like the 11th of April, if the group agrees to go along that line. And yeah, that was what I had.
Just a second, the second week of April, right? It's April the 8th, the second weekend, right? It's April the 8th and April the 9th.
Let me double check in a second.
Because the first Saturday is April the 1st.
No, so I was off with a week there. This would be the 15th and 16th of April.
So this is the third weekend of April.
Yeah, and the reason for this is that the Parliament gathers in Strasbourg from the 17th and onward. So to have a visitors group in Strasbourg, it would have to be on the 15th, 16th. Also, the weekend before is Easter, so that might not be the best option. I just didn't see that the first weekend was actually before the first week. So it should be the 15th and the 16th. And ideally, we would then dedicate the 15th to the Common European Election Program, and we would have the council meeting on the 16th.
Okay, so because the weekend before is the Easter weekend, right?
Yes, exactly. But the main reason is that if we want to have a visitors group in Strasbourg, it would have to be arranged on the 17th, and therefore the meeting would have to be on the 15th and 16th.
Okay, so then I let you speak, Onza. So to summarize, the proposal is to postpone the next, if I correctly understood. We have a proposal on the table according to Mikola's willing and discussion with MAP to postpone the next scheduled meeting on December, to postpone it to April the 15th, the 16th, plus adding Monday the 17th for the Strasbourg visitors group, as we did in Brussels. Correct, MAP?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so Onza as a hand raise, so please, stage is yours.
Okay, I'm not sure if you can hear me, and I'll probably
Yes, we
be
can.
hearing myself as an echo, I guess. Okay, I'm not sure if you can hear me, and okay, and I have to turn off YouTube, so if you're going to interrupt me, then I won't hear you at all, so that's nice. So that's it's only a minor nitpick, but I think we really have to make sure that we will have at least some. I wouldn't say we should have a complete program, because that's of course ridiculous, but we should, or at least have some clear idea of what working groups we want to have on the European election program. And so that maybe possibly part of the program during the next council meeting would already be some, I would, let's say, like some sort of a ice breaking between those people, because I think it would be a shame to miss this opportunity to have some of the people who might be interested in participating on the program to meet face to face, because as far as I remember, that was a problematic thing during composing of the last program.
Can I respond to that?
Yes, sure. I was just looking at Jan, if he finish his speech, I guess so. Please, MAP.
Yes. So I might have been a bit unclear, but the timetable for the Common European Election Program, it's a later point today, but what was discussed at the council meeting here in Brussels was to have the working groups set up before the end of this year, have them work in the beginning of next year, and then have a physical meeting to finalize and agree on things that we couldn't agree on online, and also to work with the chapters that had been sort of a bit forgotten, if that is the case. And the idea would be to have this on the Saturday, the day before the council meeting, also in person, also in Strasbourg. So the schedule will be Saturday, working day on the Common European Election Program, Sunday, council meeting, Monday, visitors group to the European Parliament. I hope that answers your nitpicking.
Okay, thank you, Mab. I see that Onza is not answering even in the chat, so probably the answer is yes. I see Bastian would like to speak, so the stage is yours, Bastian.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, all. I have a simple question. We can discuss that later, but we did a survey. When we will know the result? It's uninteresting, not necessary, or what?
Sorry, what survey are you referring to?
Yes, I didn't catch Bastian too. What survey are you referring to? Can you please rephrase?
Yes, of course. The server who wants to work for a working group, who wants to be the coordinator, and so on, and you didn't remember that?
Yes, I was going to come to that under point 6, discussions and decision on the process for the Common European Election Program.
Yeah, okay, thank you. That's just for my question.
Okay, so so here is on the table. I think that we should now, if there are no other people wants to add something here, I think that we should take a decision right now, because we already sent out a schedule for the whole year. But I totally agree on this proposal that is on the table right now. That of course nothing is written in the stone, and we can decide right now, because we are in time, and because the next scheduled meeting should be online, so nobody has to change any plans. I mean, buying stuff that is useless. So I think that we should now vote on this proposal, meaning that to cancel the next scheduled online council meeting on next December, and to postpone it to these 3 days, April 15, April 16, and April 17 eventually, with this very important moment, scheduling the Common European Election Program decision on Saturday, the council meeting on Sunday, and then for those who wants to participate, the I should say, because I was the organizer for last, I should say a quite not only interesting because I was already there, but a really funny meeting in Brussels at the European Parliament. So we can have this once again in Strasbourg for those interested. So if there are no other objections or people who want to speak, I would propose to vote on this at line 100. So please, everyone, cast your vote at line 100 if you are in favor of postponing the next council meeting to an on-site hybrid meeting in Strasbourg next April. Please vote on vote yes on line 100. If you are against, vote no on line 101. And if you want to abstain, please vote abstain on line 102. I see only 4 votes, me, Peter, Ons, and Bastian. So if you want to cast your vote, Flori and Yasmin, please, you can do it. You need to refresh the Etherpad. Okay, for sure. We're waiting for you, Yasmin. We post the link again if you need it here. It's at the vote is open at line 100. Okay, so probably Flori is a bit sick and she can't vote. Okay, so anyway, if Flori wants to add her vote later, I think that is now pretty much the vote can be concluded and the motion passed. So we can send out the new schedule. So after this meeting, we will inform our member that the next council meeting will be held next year, the week after Easter, with this schedule. April 15, we will have the Common European Election Program Day. dedicated, so we can finalize everything. On Sunday, we will have the council meeting with the proper agenda that will be released after. And the day after, Mikolas will organize again a sponsored visitor group as we did in Brussels, this time at European Parliament in Strasbourg. That is pretty nice too, Mab, isn't it?
Sorry, what was that last question?
The question was that the European Parliament in Strasbourg is pretty nice too, isn't it?
Well, I'm sitting in right now, and I would rather be somewhere else, but for a short visit, it's long.
Okay, Bastian, please, you want to speak?
Yes, shall we do that council meeting the same way we did it in Brussels as a so-called hybrid meeting?
Yes, I guess that for sure the council meeting would be a hybrid meeting as we did in Brussels. Mab?
I put a remark in the minutes. Thank you.
Sure.
Yes, I just raised my hand on that very topic. The statutes is clear that remote participation should be always possible in physical meetings. So we have to come up with meeting that should hopefully be in December. By then, I should also have a venue, and we will have to discuss the budget for the event. But that I thought we would put on the next board meeting to not overload this one.
Yeah, I think that we experiencing some issue today, right? I was kicking off before, Mab was kicking off right now while speaking, and as on the
Me too, yeah, I got kicked off just then.
Yeah, there was lack of net bandwidth, it seems, with the GC instance. But anyway, I'm pretty sure that to clarify, of course, our statutes allow not only allow but force us to have a remote participation also, to guarantee remote participation. So we will for sure guarantee remote participation also. And I second what Mabe was saying, that of course further topics on the further details will be decided on the next board meeting or the incoming board meeting before the the council meeting. And I totally also agree that we can for sure split responsibilities and roles. We are 9 members in the board, so please, Mab, you're welcome back. If you want to speak, Mab, you can finish because you were kick it off. Mab, are you there? You raised your hand by mistake. Okay, it seems so. So, if nobody would like to add something to this point, I would rather pass to the point number 6, that is discussions and decisions on the process for the Common European Election Program. So here, Bastian questions was if we have the results on survey and the voice version seems to have been disconnected from the meeting. Yes, exactly. Everyone got disconnected, Map. So you have to reconnect. So now you're back, right?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
I'm back. I'm sorry for that. I don't know why I disappeared, and I don't know how much I spoke into the void and what you actually heard of what I was saying.
You actually could probably spoke to the void around 2 minutes, but really nobody cares. It's fine, absolutely. I just prolonged your speech in the way you did. So, but if you want to to add something now, of course you can.
Yes, what I was saying is that I will make a proposal for the next board meeting on budget, on venue, on hybrid, and other aspects that are relevant for the board to decide on, so that we have those decisions early on in the process rather than late in the process. And I will also identify different areas where it would be good for the board to allocate someone responsible who can make decisions on behalf of the board, so that we can take decisions quicker than having to wait for a board meeting for every single detail. I'm very happy to help with the legwork of organizing the next council meeting, but I'm very unhappy if I have to make decisions about it, because that is the role of the board and not the role of me.
Okay, thank you, Mab. So I would say that the point number 5 is complete, and I would move forward to the point number 6, discussion and decision on the process for the Common European Election Program. So here we have the question that Bastian raised before, and I think that is also the right. If I guess you might has something to say. You told us before that you have, because for what I've seen, we have a lot of issues with the link, especially many pirates also from Italy couldn't join. I spread the voice, but nobody actually came in. So that's definitely not. I mean, not a good way about, but it was still for sure. I think we have time to fix this, but still the process should go on.
Yes, so at the council meeting in Brussels, it was a presentation of this, the process for the Common European Election Program. Unfortunately, when I looked at the minutes from the meeting, they were very, very vague on it. So it would probably be good for the board to write down the process and send it out to the member parties. And we set up an online form for people to fill out their interest. But because of technical reasons, we had to redo it the day after because there was some information missing in the original form. And this second form at some point stopped working. The IT guy responsible couldn't explain why. And we've asked for a third form to be put up, but that one still hasn't been set up. So I think the best way forward would be to basically restart with a new form and an information email to all the member parties, and then actively pushing this new form when it comes online. And that basically means that the board will have to redecide on the timetable for when coordinators should be selected by the board, because that is, of course, the first step towards actually getting them up and doing something. I would also advise the board to appoint someone in the board responsible for the work with the Common European Election Programme, so that there's a clear person with a mandate to follow this process and make sure that it goes forward. As always, I'm happy to help with practical things, but I'm not good at taking decisions on behalf of the board. It's better if you delegate that to someone on the board than rely on an outside person for that. But yeah, the reasons the link doesn't work is because there's some technical problem with the form, and we're still waiting for a new form to be put up.
Thank you, Mob. If I may say a word, I think that I don't know if it was your intention to ask the board to take a decision now, or appoint someone now, and also suggest now a new timetable. I totally agree that the best option here is to restart the process, send out a new link and a new communication to all our member parties. By the way, to do this, we have to clarify if all the member parties are in our mailing list, because it seems that, for instance, Norwegian weren't there. So this is the option. This is the really first thing first. Instead of decide to send out new communication for new board, for new council, for new Common European Election Program, we should be sure that all the members are in that list. At least the international delegates for every member should be there. Otherwise, we are missing someone each time, and of course it's not good. So I agree with everything, but I don't think this. I mean, we should do this right now. I mean, it would be better to have an asynchronous chat in the board channel in Mattermost, so we can have someone that is really accountable and responsible for this topic, and then we can vote on it. We can even have, I think, an agreement if we have to vote on this and elect this person responsible for this process, accountable for this process. We can't do this as Cedric would like to do, for sure, in an asynchronous way without having to do this right now. I'm just saying this because we're still here, and maybe we don't have the right candidate, or we don't want to. I mean, everyone should at least think about what does it mean, what has to be done, and then all this information can be held in a asynchronous mode. That's my proposal. But I don't know if you prefer, Mab, that the board take a decision right now.
That is entirely up to the board. I can't tell you when you should take a decision and on what. I can only say that I think this process will not really move forward until there is someone responsible and there's a clear text outlining the process, because there is no such text from the council meeting, and I don't think there is an entirely clear text from the last board meeting either. So you need an agreement in the board on the timetable, and you need an agreement on the board, I believe, on who's responsible to make sure that that timetable is kept. And when you have those two things, I will be very happy to help as much as I can to make sure that everything works.
Okay, so as far as I cannot see any written timetable, we have first to at least create it, and unless there is somebody that right now, right here, wants to candidate for, let's say, the position of the responsible for the common, on behalf of the board responsible for the Common European Election Program staff, if there is someone here that would like to be responsible for it, we can vote and take a decision. But for sure, we don't have any timetable here to decide on. So we have first to discuss, and then I think that after that we can take a decision and sort out a vote on it. Please, Bastian.
Yeah, thank you. At the rate we are holding board meetings, we should decide something today. The next board meeting is in November, I guess, and then the year is almost over. So we have to do something now or never. Thank you.
Okay, so if we have to do something now, I think that now or never is not an option because it's always ever. But if we have to do something now, I've nothing against, but we don't have nor a candidate for this position right now, unless somebody wants to move forward, nor neither a timetable. So first of all, the first easy call it's for a candidate for this position. So if there is a candidate for this position, we can absolutely decide right now and vote on it. If not, I think that we can't. So my question is there anybody present in the board that would like to candidate for this position? Please, Bastian.
Yeah, I would do that, but like the last council meeting, it was not requested, or yeah, he was not willing to let me in. So I think it's not a good idea that I will volunteer for that again.
Okay, so I appreciate. So if you do not want to volunteer, if you don't think it's a good idea, and nobody else is proposing for volunteering this position, I think that we should ask for at least think once again and ask for the missing board members. There are 3 actually, Mikuláš and two beloved French pirates, Cedric and Etienne. And if nobody appears, I think that we should take a decision anyway, because I mean, I think that we can't force anyone to do this. So I would say that today we don't have anything to we don't have any candidates to vote on. So we will discuss it we will report this discussion into the MetaMost channel, the board MetaMost channel, and we will find out in the next days a possible candidate. What I would like to say is that we could even vote there, because it's still us. We could even have this decision internally there, and then when it's done, provide it to our members, all the international delegates, to our assistants, to MAB, to everyone. Also, I actually, if we want to have a timetable right now, we should work on it. We should propose a timetable here right now, and a timeline for this, and then vote on it. Is there anyone who wants to propose a timeline for the Common European Election Program from now until April the 15th?
So I'm not sure if I was entirely clear, but my impression from the council meeting is that Mikuláš outlined a timetable, but that it was never written down. So I assume that that draft that he had would have been discussed internally in the board in some of your private channels that I'm not in, so that you already have a timetable somewhere.
Okay, so I missed that part. Also, Onze agreed on your version. So did this means that we don't even need to do this? We just need to to ask Mikuláš to, let's say, refresh this to us, and then we can easily approve and sort it out. There is no need to do it right now. Mikuláš is sick, so at least in the next week or when it will be ready again, he can just show that this timetable that I sorry, I have to admit that I now that you told it, I remember, but I don't remember actually the all the steps, and I have a vague idea, but if there is a timetable, if there is a document, we can read it and vote on it, and then sort it out. Okay, so to sort out with the decision, I think that we could enforce that in a couple of weeks, at least within October, we will deliver the responsible from the board for the Common European Election Program plus the approved timeline for the vote process. I think that today it's October the 18th. We have 12 days, so hopefully Mikuláš will recover in a dozen of days, and we can easily discuss in a couple of days in our chat and sort it out within October. That's my proposal. Okay, so I see no objections. So I would consider this point closed if there is nobody who wants to say something more. And I would pass to the point number 7, sorry. That is the letter from the Greek Pirate Party. So here we have our beloved member from the Pirate Party of Greece. So I think that the stage is yours.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Absolutely, sound clear, very, very clear, and sound clear.
Okay,
Perfect.
To begin with, as you may have noticed in the past months, probably, we hope that the board members of PPEU realize the reason of our previous motion for the European Parliament question about the Greek government here. The situation is really messed up here in Greece, and let's say after the first lockdowns, after the government decided to open up the public space again to the people, the first big movements that occurred were against an anti-environmental law that the Greek government passed, and many people from the pirate movement were there as well. It was a big protest occurring for many months. And in that context, we met many people, we had thorough discussions, and we decided to finally co-found the Greens Party with members from a previous Greens Party that also passed some anti-environmental laws with the Syriza government. So some of them left from that, and we decided together with them to restructure the Greens Party here. The co-founding of that party happened in the context of how the pirate parties participate in the Greens EFA in the European Parliament. And we have also some members from the Pirate Party of Greece elected in the council meetings and local meetings of the Greens Party as well. However, we had some discussions with members from some board members of the European Greens, like Hinderbrook and Mrs. Hinderbrook and Mrs. Tsetsi. And they told us that the situation can't stay like that here in Greece with two major green parties, and that there should be more discussions on how they should be conjoined. We have extendedly participated in those discussions, and so far we are in a same axis, let's say, of trains of thought about how this major coalition should move on. And so far, we are with, the Greens that we have co-founded, the Pirate Party of Greece. There's also the Animal Party of Greece about the rights of animals and so on. And we would like to actually ask this board meeting and the board members of PPEU if there's any experience with, first of all, the Greens from the European Parliament, and also a new party that was founded here in Greece, the Volt namely the Volt Party, which we understand is a member of Volt Europa. And there were some issues with that one because they are probably going to be in that coalition, and they had some positions here in Greece like let's create a European army, and in which the Pirate Party of Greece is against because we are under the NATO umbrella and we completely disagree with it. And also, let's say if we had also an EU army, it would be even worse for us. And also they were like, they had a saying like, let's redistribute refugees as if they were rice, or I don't know. Refugees definitely should choose a country to go in the European Union instead of redistributing them. So we had some disagreements with that. And we would like to, first of all, ask the board members of this meeting about what they think about this effort, earn some advice, some concerns, and also if there's any experience with either that Volt Party or also the Animal Party. But I believe there's someone in the Green CFA as well. We would be glad to hear from you.
Thank you, Thanasis, for your speech. It's a pleasure to hear from any other pirate parties in Europe. And I see that MAP as Rand Hayes. So, Mab, the stage is yours.
Thank you. I thought I could answer some of the questions. First of all, the European Pirates have sat in the Green EFA group together with the Greens since 2009, first the Swedish, then the German, and now the German and Czech. But that has always been an agreement after the election. So we've never run with the Greens in any of these countries. The only country where the Pirates and the Greens have run together for a European election before is in Slovenia, where that didn't go so well. Most importantly, they didn't get anyone elected, but also it caused some friction between the Greens and the Pirates over who did what during the elections. They both felt that other side didn't uphold their part of the deal. But content-wise, it was possible for them to run together. It was more on the practical execution of the joint campaign where the problems was. So that is the experience of running together with Greens in the past. I've been briefed by Bulat Setsi on the negotiations in Greece, so I was aware of this. And of course, the European Green Party is very keen on this not being a success where the members of the European Green Party is not excluded, but they're also very keen on getting someone elected, and that is why they try to elect as many as possible. Now, on Volt. Volt is a pan-European party with national chapters. Those chapters are to some extent independent, but all European policies are decided on by the central European Volt and not by the individual parties. So most of the stuff that they will run on in the European election will be decided by their European board or their European level decision-making. In the European Parliament, we work well with Volt. They are part of the digital working group of the Green EFA group. They have one MEP from Germany, and he gets along quite well with our Czech and German MEPs. Volt is also elected in the Netherlands, where they have, I think, 3 people elected to the national parliament. One of them have now left the party and become an independent. There, they don't get along with the Pirates. The Pirates don't trust them, and there seem to have been some early tensions when Volt was formed, where the Pirates especially point to their lack of transparency in internal decision-making processes. So that's a bad experience of working with Volt. Volt is also elected into the Bulgarian parliament with 2 seats in a coalition that is mostly center to center-left. And I don't have any experience of them directly there, but that are the places where Volt has been successful. I do not think that being on a joint list with Volt in Greece will be a problem as long as you get along with them locally. I don't think that the European level will interfere until they have someone elected from Greece. So for the elections, that should probably be fine. Now, the animal rights parties are generally, they tend to end up in GUE instead of the Green group here in the European Parliament. So they tend to end up in the left group. And that is usually because they don't think that the Greens are good enough on animal rights issues. I think there's been some animal rights party that has been in the Green group, but generally they end up in GUE, where they have stronger independence than they feel they would have in this group. I don't think that should stop us from working with them on national level, if that is something that you think is useful for your campaign. So that is what I can say from the European level. But at the end of the day, of course, as everyone will tell you, you are free to make which electoral alliances you best see fit.
Thank you, Map. You still have your hand raised, but it's of course okay. Thank you. And Florie, the king, the princess, the queen. Florie, you have the queen, the crown.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Good evening. in France we start. I'm sorry, I'm really sick, so it's difficult for me. We started to speak with Volt in France. We stopped speaking with the Greens 2 years ago. I think our position about nuclear energy is not the same as the Greens, the French Greens. So we stopped speaking with them 2 years ago, and we started speak with Volt this year. And we think in France, we think we can speak with them better than with the Greens. But we still have the doors open to speak with the Greens if they want to turn back on the nuclear energy. I think they won't. The French vote want to speak with the European pirates, and they want to open the door, and they hope to work with them, with us for the European elections, because in France we have to. The rules are not the same as in your countries. For participating to the election, we have to pay for the bullets, and we don't have any money for that. So we have to make an agreement with some parties. Volt can be one of them. There are other parties. So the doors are open for speaking with Volt and some others.
Thank you, Vuri. Please, yes, Tanazis, you want to answer?
Yeah, I want first of all to thank the board members for their responses, and I would like to comment on the situation with Volt here. It didn't really go well because they wanted to. There was a huge issue about the name of that bigger green coalition of parties, and that was the main problem about which we couldn't find a coalition solution. And then we had Volt, which was recently founded in Greece, and they wanted, after all those thorough discussions, to have their name in the next to the name of the coalition, and everyone was like, no, that's not going to happen. And then we had the other Greens, as I told you, that they were like, okay, we're fine with that. So they kind of brought, a new discussion to the table about that. Anyway, the fun part is that, the Animal Rights Party here in Greece, MAB said that it's not with the Greens. They're not regarding the Greens' agenda as their own as well. And they're stating the exact same thing here. However, they are completely fine to coexist with us in that effort. Anyway, I don't know what else could be discussed on this matter. I just hope that Volt here is going to reconsider some of its positions about the European army and the redistribution of refugees, and probably things will be fine after that.
Thank you. Thank you,
Very quick,
Tanazis.
can jump in on that. I don't think the Greek Volt can reconsider. It would have to be the European Volt that reconsider, because those are both European topics and not decided by the Greek Volt, but by the European Volt. The only thing that the Greek Volt can consider is how much they will push for those centrally agreed lines.
Oh, okay. Thanks for the information, Mab.
Okay, so if anybody else would like to say something on this topic.
Yes, can I say something?
Sure.
So on any negotiations with the Greens, especially if you're in contact with the Green EFA group in the European Parliament, always feel free to include me. I have extensive knowledge of what they do here, and I can probably help you with leverage, as that will show you that you're well connected to European pirates here in the European Parliament. Also, if you want more background on the European Vault, send me an email and I will get back to you on that. I have some good connections in Vault, so I can probably tell you more about their background and their policies bilaterally.
Okay, perfect, Mab. If you can, if someone can send me Mab's email, or Mab, if you can do it.
Yeah, Mab already posted the official email in the Jitsi chat. Thank you everyone. Onza, please.
Just a short question, since there was the mention that you want to make this coalition with like some kind of Greens, Pirates, and Volt. How many members does the Greek Volt have? Because we actually had this really weird episode where Volt was trying to run during the Prague municipal elections a few weeks ago, and like they ended up really badly. I think they got like 100 votes in Prague, which is a city of like 1.25 million. So like it seems to me like Volt is basically a German party that is masquerading as an European party. So how many Volt members are there in Greece?
Okay, as I've told you, Volt is a recently founded party. I think Thanasi, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it requires 500 signatures for a party to be established as a newly founded. So I believe that somehow they've managed to collect so many signatures to do that, and it's probably so many people. But I don't know if all those members are active, and yeah.
Mab, probably you know it. You want to answer?
Well, I would start by saying that I would avoid to describe Volt as a German party, given that they have people elected to parliament in both the Netherlands and Bulgaria. And they don't have people elected to the national parliament in Germany. In Germany, they have locally elected people and a member of the European Parliament. So they initially started quite strong in Germany, but they've definitely spread after that. And they are as close to being recognized as the European political party as the pirates are, and they got there much quicker. That might be worth bearing in mind. I don't know how big they are in Greece. I'll pass on the question to my friends inside Volt. What I can say is that the Volt Greece Facebook page has 3,000 followers. So they're at least known to some extent in Greece.
Okay, so if there are no more questions or topics on the table on this issue, I would like to move to the last one. That is any other business. I thank you, Austin, for the written report. And now, Jan, yes, please.
So first things first, I mentioned this during the council, but I wanted to make a list of, let's say, international coordinators that each of our constituent parties have, mostly because it's for, let's say, for interconnectedness and for purposes of, let's say that if some party wants to connect with another party but lacks their own coordinators, then they could use coordinators from another party. So I started compiling at least a list for the Czech Pirate Party. Unfortunately, there actually aren't as many active coordinators as I thought we had. I went through our forums to see if those people on the list, because we have a list of coordinators, but it's out of date. So I went through our forums to see if those people are actually still active in, well, something that's resembling coordination. So I only ended up with like 6 people from our party, which is a lot less than I thought that I would end up. I know that German Pirate Party has several people because they also meet regularly, unlike Czech Pirates, since we don't have regular meetings of international coordinators in Czech Pirate Party. So hopefully some other parties can also contribute their members, or let's say their members who are active in coordinating or who are interested in being international coordinators. So those could be people. Hopefully it should be a list of people you can turn to if for instance, like if for instance what we have is the official communications channels are not working, or the last contact that you had with the said party is not responding anymore, which happens a lot with some of these smaller parties.
Thank you. Thank you, Onza, for your speech, Mab.
Yes, I wanted to point out that I'm not sure that all our pirate parties even have any international coordinators at all. That seems to vary from party to party. There is no unified structure for how international coordination works, whether it's done by independent international coordinators or if it's done by the board of the party and so on. So I think you have to go even at a more fundamental level to figure out what is it that you want these people to do, and maybe they will be called something else in some of the member parties.
Thank you, Bob. Jan, you want to answer?
Yeah, that's basically the idea. Is well, at least part of the idea is that if let's say you have a small pirate party of some from some country, and you actually would like to communicate to contact someone from a different pirate party, but you don't have any coordinators of your own yet, then the idea is that there will be some sort of a I'm not sure if you have this in Sweden, but Germans have the gelbe Seiten. You used to have these really big books of phone numbers for everyone in the country. So this should just be a, let's say, contact list of those people, and you could basically like call up someone from a different party who is coordinating with the party that you actually wish to contact. And so in this way you could sort of use the capacity of the larger parties like the Czech Pirate Party or the German one to supplement your own capacity where it's lacking, for instance. So that's one idea. The other idea is that these people should be, at least the Czech ones should be able to also help us in contacting people to compose the common program. Like, for instance, from my list of coordinators, Marek Nečada was really active last time during the composing of the European program. So these should also be people who we turn to first during in composing our super teams of people writing the program.
Thank you, Onza. If I may say a word, I think that beside the international coordinator, that are of course important, at least they should have international delegates, because otherwise the participation of the council meetings is totally neglected. And that point out also to the question that we were discussing before in the previous topic. So we should have at least all the international delegates from all parties within the list before sending the communication. Otherwise, someone is every time completely cut off. And also, I think that now it could be the time to raise your question, Mom, about sending the invoices to again to the the outstanding fees. So if Bashan, you have an update on this, we can then, I think, because it's 10, 10:30. Map, yes, please. Map, you raise your hand.
Yes. Sorry, I thought I would reiterate something I said at the council meeting. If the board decides to send out invoices to outstanding membership fees, I would be more than happy to follow up on those invoices and contact those parties and try to encourage them to actually pay those invoices. So if that is something the boards decide to do, and also if you send out new invoices for next year, and you let me know which ones aren't being paid within the dedicated time, I can follow up on the other invoices, contact those parties, and try to get them to pay their invoices. Not in the I'll break your leg kind of way, but remind them gently that this is an invoice that they're supposed to pay, and see if there's any problems with it that we can help them with.
Thank you, Mab, for your help. I think that for this, you can directly be in contact with Bastian that actually has the full picture. Please, Bastian.
Yeah, thank you. I know that the vice chair always finds fault with my works. Yeah, all invoices have been sent to all members from address on file with me. I have not of every member an address, a contact data, or something. So we have returns of invoices, and simply I want to blame a party here, so I cannot say exactly who is not reacting. I don't need an interpreter for the simple invoices. They have to pay that. That's easy, and they know that we have status for that. And we can't send the invoices for 22 because we have to discuss it on the next council meeting. Then we have to vote about the membership fees again, and then we can send out the invoices for 22. If we have a council meeting in 23, it's delayed, I think. Or we made a decision that we ignore that rule and we send it out to this year. Of course, it's happiness for the treasurer, and we make the invoices with the same amount we did in the last year. So we have no problems. We have a problem that the members are simply not want to pay. That's all. And I sent a lot of reminders for pay the amount. It's not very much, 50 euros for each, and some nice parties have to pay a little bit more. I have some concerns about big parties who are not willing to pay their amounts since years. So we have to discuss that maybe in the board, but we don't need Russian incasso, I think. Yeah, sorry about the map. I appreciate your offer very much, but I think it's a duty. Everybody knows that, and I think it's a pity that the members do not stick to that duties and or rules. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Bastian. If I may add a word, I would say that it is very easy. Bastian told us that he sent out all the invoices for 2021, but not for 2022 because we had no decision in the council meeting for the fees. But maybe I could be wrong. But as far as I remember, there is no obligation for the council meeting to decide. And if they can decide, the council meeting can decide to change the actual fee. But if there is no decision, in my opinion, the previous fee applied still in the current year. So we don't. Of course, what we should not have to do is to wait. I mean, to send in the 2023 next year invoices for 2022. This is. Let me pass this word. I hope nobody will be offended. This is ridiculous. How can I pay? I mean, it's a retro invoice, right? An invoice for the past. It's not gonna happen. So, in my opinion, we should send out every year, if we have no decision, every year new invoices. So 2021 was already sent. If not 2020, if no invoices for 2022 this year was sent, in my opinion, they should be all sent. And it's very easy to understand who paid and who didn't, because we have a transparent account. So maybe you can also, if you want to gently help or not, it's up to you, because I mean, you're willing to help if you want to ask. As far as I can do, right? Because I see the bank account, and I see, pilot party of let's say Netherlands or Luxembourg didn't pay. Of course, I can always make a call or just write an email. I saw that you didn't pay your invoice for this year. Do you have a problem? I mean, do you miss it or not? But of course, I am pretty sure that the treasurer sent the invoice. Once the treasurer sent the invoice, I agree that it's, of course, the party's duty to pay it. Sebastian, would you like to answer?
I would like to add something. Maybe my memory is a little bit better. If you remember the scandal in 2018, just prior to our council meeting in Reykjavik, I had all the invoices prepared, and it was strictly forbidden to send it out, and I got a lot of complaints for that. I want to send out the invoices, yeah, and got a lot of complaints. And if you remember, it cost me my office. So if the board will decide, there's no problem, send out the invoices for 2022, yes, of course I will do that. But then you receive the complaints, please, not the treasurer. Thank you.
Okay, so if I correctly understood, if it should be a board decision, I would table it immediately, because I think that there is no reasons not to send the invoice if there is no changes, especially because of this reduction of the invoice fee that we did 2 years ago in order to enlarge participation. So, and I am telling this because it's not for it's not for money, unless we don't want to change our status. It's very simple. After 2 consecutive years, our members are automatically out, and they cannot even not only vote, but they are considered not a member anymore. So I perfectly remember I was there in Reykjavik in 2018. But if it should be a board member decision, I would propose a vote straight right now.
Yes, maybe we can do that today, but we have it not on the minutes. And the other possibility is to include all the missing board members, that we make so-called postal votes, votes not sending letters, but we can make it in the MetaMost or something like that, or even in the discourse. I don't care, but we have possibilities enough to vote yeah, let's say not in the same meeting. We have the possibility to say, yeah, we vote now, and we can count the votes from the missing board members too later. Thank you.
Thank you, Bastian. So for me, I'm totally agree. I'm totally in favor of having this vote on Matemos channel, and we can have it also with a little discussion with all the missing members, because voting without the discussion, the vote is actually the final act of a discussion. Voting without discussion is meaningless. So what I want to point out is that I would like to record for the minute today that we need a vote. You ask for a vote for this, and I asked for sending the invoice for 2022 within this year as soon as possible, not next year. Next year, at the first council meeting, we can decide for the new 2023 fee if we wanted to decide, and if the council said that no need to update our fees, we will send out new invoices as with the same fee. So if you all agree, we can postpone this decision, and I will write in the minute that we will do it within this month too, as per the other decision we have to make on Matmos channel.
Yeah, I really agree, and I would appreciate it very much if you write it down in the minutes. Thank you.
Can I say something on this?
Of course.
Yes. So I wasn't aware that there hadn't been invoices sent for 2022, because of course I haven't followed the work of the board in detail. But I was looking at the statutes, and the statute says that if no agreement can be reached, the member parties will pay the same fee as last year. And since there are no longer a chance for the member parties to agree on any new amount for this year, because the amount is set annually by the council on proposal of the board, but there will be no more council meeting this year. So the board knows that there's no way for the council to agree on anything. Therefore, you also know that the membership fee for 2022 will be exactly the same as 2021, according to Article 13 of the statutes, 13.1. So that might help you in that decision. When it comes to chasing members who don't pay, I didn't want to come across as blaming anyone but the member parties. Of course, it's their responsibility to pay. I was only offering to help you help them, if that is what you want. And if that is not needed, then of course I have more than enough other things I can spend my time on. But since I am in a position where I reach out to the parties, or hope to reach out to them on a regular level, I could also remind those that hasn't paid that they should pay, to help them overcome whatever hurdle it is that stops them from paying. But I'm very happy not to do it.
Okay, so I was remember the same thing that you're saying, Map. So, but we can, I mean, we still can have this little discussion with all the others, pointing out that the status is very clear, and the invoices, in case of no decision of the council meeting, fee for this year should be exactly the same of the previous one, and we should send it out, and that's it. So we are inclusive, but still within this month we will send out the invoices for 2022, and nobody should be, I mean, in any uncomfortable position, because it's right, black and white. Okay, so if there are no other matter on the table and nobody would like to say anything, I would close the meeting at 22:44 Central European Summer Time. I thank you very much for your effort and your participation. It was a quite long meeting, but in my opinion, quite productive. I thank you, our fellow guests. Thank you very much, Thanasis and MAP, and all the board members present. The decision for the next board meeting will be decided on Matmos channel as usual. And I would say good night.
Sorry, Mr.